is the Tickled Pink Events channel, and this is our special guest for today, Meghan Vergara, who is a sommelier. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, sommelier is how you say it.
Sommelier,
yes.
yes.
Sommelier.
And if you love wine as much as I love wine, you'll be excited about today's video. We are doing something a little different. I will not be mixing cocktails, but we're doing something I love equally as much, talking about and drinking wine. And with Valentine's Day just around the corner, it is a perfect season to find a good, romantic, sexy wine. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What makes wine sexy, how to pick a good, sexy wine, or any good wine, and just the different things you can enjoy this Valentine's Day or any time of the year. So we're going to get started. And like I said in our intro, this is Meghan, our sommelier, and she is going to help me learn more about my favorite beverage of choice, wine. So we're going to start with, why do we like to enjoy wine? Why does wine bring us together?
Wine has wonderful cultural significance and historical significance as well. The history of wine is amazing. We have honored wine, and it's been a big part of our society and how we celebrate and how we come together as groups. We like to share it around a table. It usually is based on relaxation and kind of calming down at the end of a busy day, that sort of a thing. So the way that we enjoy wine, we always are ready to sit down, to have a good time with friends and family. So it's a wonderful thing to share and bring to the table.
Yeah, well, since we're talking about sharing wine, why don't we start with some bubbles that you've got for us?
Excellent. So since it's Valentine's Day and we're talking about some fun, romantic, and sexy wines, I thought it would be very fun to share a bottle of sparkling rose. It's actually a Prosecco. It's a sparkling rosé Prosecco, and it's called Murato.
Ooh.
And I particularly love sparkling rosé wines because I think they offer all the fun and elegance of sparkling wine, but they carry a little bit bigger body and they have more going on texturally and more luscious mouth.
And they're a beautiful blush pink, which is perfect for the color palette of Valentine's Day. But yeah, it's very romantic. When I see sparkling rosé, I do think of romance.
And I think that that's something that is very sexy about wine. Wine engages all 5 of your senses.
Oh.
It's actually one of the only true art forms that brings together all of your senses.
Wow.
So you can see it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it, you can touch it. So when you're thinking about other art, it doesn't necessarily do that. You can, like a beautiful painting, you can see it, but you can't hear it, you can't taste it.
I'm going wine tasting and I'm being cultural. They're like, no, you're just going to drink. I'm like, no, it's a cultural experience. So now I feel justified in my wine drinking. I'm taking part in a cultural activity.
Yep.
So no more judgment. Sorry. No, this is amazing, and it's like, this is what I think of, as far as like a nice evening or celebration. So this is perfect for Valentine's Day. So thank you for being here today. Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Now, oh, that is really nice. It's got a good body and it's not too acidic. That'd be nice to kick off the evening before dinner with a nice little cheese plate or something like that.
For sparkling wine, it carries a lot of significance, actually. It does. The reason people like to drink it first is because it sort of excites your taste buds. The bubbles, the CO2 that gets your mouth and your entire experience ready to enjoy, and it's kind of a light, refreshing way to kick off the night. And also, sparkling wine, champagnes, they have such significance for being celebratory.
Yeah. And so you were mentioning before that, there's a relaxing quality. What makes wine relaxing? Because I know a lot of us enjoy at the end of a hard day or any day, something just says, when you have a glass of wine. So what is it that does that for us?
Honestly, it is an alcoholic beverage. So the alcohol itself.
Yes, got it.
But the thing about wine that's very, very nice is that it's a little bit smaller alcohol percentage than you're drinking straight vodka or that kind of a thing. And there's actual other qualities in the way wine is made that are very good for you as well. But so the alcohol actually is mildly sedative, as we know, but only in very moderate amounts, very small amounts, and it's perfect. And then with red wine, there's all sorts of other wonderful properties like polyphenols and resveratrol, different chemical compounds that they've found through research actually do great things for your body.
Nice.
In moderation.
Right.
Yeah. So,
got it. Yes. So like a glass or two, not a bottle or two.
Absolutely. That's something that is very romantic about wine, and they've done a lot of research. 1 bottle of wine for 2 people is actually a very great amount of alcohol to consume.
Right.
you have wonderful effects from having 1 or 2 glasses, but once you get much further than that, those wonderful effects start
kind of wane off.
going downhill. Yeah,
I've been there.
Absolutely.
More times than I'd like to admit, but yes, it's really relaxing. It's just that big, body of wine just to kind of relax you at the end of the day.
And again, going back to the senses that wine offers, you're engaging all these. I mean, when you look at it, it's a beautiful color.
Yeah, this is gorgeous. And you do pick up like the apricot and the citrus. And
absolutely.
It's really nice.
Strawberries. Yeah. And with aromatics, actually, there's been tons of research done as well they're studying how aromas affect memory. And a lot of the times the aromas of wine incite positive memories.
Oh, nice.
So that's actually part of the
cool.
Wonderful, relaxing sensory experience of wine. So, yeah. And then you taste it, and then that's part of what it always has a wonderful, luscious mouthfeel, like delicious, and that's enjoyable as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I took part in Dry January this year. and the first it was a struggle, but we made it. And literally with the first taste of wine, it's just like, like there are all these happy memories and good feelings and just positivity around it. So there is very much something to that, because just even smelling a glass of wine makes me feel happy.
Well, going back 4,000 years, we used to call it, we call it the nectar of the gods. There used to be gods dedicated to wine entirely, like Dionysus, Bacchus, so people would celebrate, and they were also coincidentally the gods of fertility as well. So that's another significance with the sexiness of wine. People have always kind of linked those things together. Yeah.
So now that we've gotten sort of the why of it, the how do we go about finding a sexy wine? What makes wine sexy?
What a great question. Well, first and foremost, wine is subjective, so it's good to know what you like when you're drinking wine. And people like me, a sommelier, is actually there to help you. I feel like sometimes we get this reputation for being kind of snotty or kind of unapproachable, but we shouldn't be. And one of my best tips is when you're drinking, try to start to identify some of the characteristics that you like, even if you're not sure exactly what to call it. Okay. Try to say, oh man, I like bubbles. That's a great place to start. And I do like rosé wine, so that's a really good place to start. So if you know something you like and don't like as you're tasting, you can really try to start to learn from that. So pick a characteristic that you do like, and maybe pick one characteristic that you don't like, and sort of try to branch out from there. Okay. Another great tip for wine. Try, if you've had a bottle that you love, make sure to look at the region that bottle comes from. So say you have a bottle of Cabernet and you're like, okay, that's from Paso Robles, and it lists a specific vineyard. Right. Try another bottle. Remember where that came from. Okay. Remember that region and remember that vineyard name. Okay. Because chances are the next thing you buy from there, that specific area, you're probably going to like too. Right. That's really smart. In winemaking, you can have differences in how the winemakers make the wine, but generally it's all about the land that it comes from and what the grapes taste like.
The terroir, as they say.
The terroir. Yes, exactly. Cool. Yeah.
So Megan, as we go along in our wine journey, what makes wine sexy?
There's many different parts of wine that make it sexy. So it's kind of the sensory experience that we discussed, and typically the romanticism of wine, the history that we kind of went over as well. But there are also chemical properties in wine that they've done research that they found that helps enhance experiences for people. They actually did a study in Italy at the University of Florence, and they found out that there's chemical properties of red wine, like the polyphenols and the resveratrols, that affect women in a certain way. And one of the ways it affects women very positively is that it increases blood flow to some of our
nether regions.
More fun
regions.
So it actually relaxes us, it gets us happy in the mood. And
fellas, pay attention.
Exactly.
Jess, this is the keynote. Everyone put down what you're doing. This is the part we want to know.
Red wine increases blood flow to some
increases your odds of having a really good Valentine's Day date.
Absolutely. And women love the gesture, showing up with a nice bottle of wine. It's just sweet and romantic and wonderful. So.
And I do. One of my greatest first dates with my husband is he came over with a nice bottle. Well, we were in our early 20s, so nice is questionable. But at that time in our lives, it was a nice bottle of wine, and I remember feeling mature, and I was in a romantic rom-com, the boy shows up with flowers and wine, and it definitely does play into the fantasy. So guys, show up with a nice bottle of bubbles or wine, and it's definitely a good way to start your date night.
And there's also positive effects on men as well. So one of the positive effects of red wine is it helps men increase and maintain their testosterone levels,
Oh,
which is something that's very helpful in that department as well. Very sexy.
Yes. Nice.
So yeah, there's all kinds of
Very
great
cool.
effects of red wine and other health benefits beyond as well. So
Right.
for your heart and anti-inflammatory properties and all of that.
Very
so.
good. So see, if you're trying to be healthy this year, incorporate a little wine into your daily routine. Or
Absolutely.
every other day routine.
So, and part of the fun of wine too is more than just the tasting, but the experience. And
Yeah.
one fun experience is something like this, a beautiful decanter.
that's great.
So I'll go ahead and decant some red wine for you.
What do we have here?
This is the Ammunition Paso Robles Cabernet. Ammunition is a small boutique producer. They actually are from Sonoma, but they produce a delicious Paso Robles Cabernet. So I thought a Paso Cab would be a really fun one because we're in California and people love our California wines, but Paso just has big, luscious, velvety, rich fruit, which to me is very sexy.
Right, and that is, all the words you used to describe it are sexy, rich,
Absolutely.
luscious, velvety. Those are all words that like spark romance.
So I've actually had a lot of fun doing research for this because the whole wine, we are very poetic with our descriptions. We are very romantic in our in the way we like to discuss and talk about wine.
Oh,
and again, just the entire experience of this, as I'm pouring, it's beautiful glassware. It's a beautiful red, rich color. It's
now
just,
I noticed
all
that
your
this
senses
glass
are
has a
engaging.
little bubble in the bottom. What's that about?
You know, it's just
I don't know if
really
you
for
can see,
style.
But it had, it's just for, I know it did something better for tasting or not.
No, it does. You know, glassware does matter for tasting, though.
Right, okay.
You know, there are interesting debates about that as well, but basically what you're looking for, especially with the red wine is, when they're making the wine, it's made in an oxidative style, which means they're trying to decrease the amount of oxygen in the bottle so as to preserve it.
Right.
But when you open it up, you want it to be exposed to oxygen essentially, so that's part of the reason we decant.
Okay.
And that's also part of the reason we have certain glassware. So these are pretty good glasses. These are just kind of great Bordeaux style glasses or Cabernet glasses. And they have a wider surface area to allow the oxygen to open up the wine, which really is important because it releases aromas.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So
I can
much-
smell it just from us swirling it. Yeah.
So much of what you taste is actually coming from your olfactory senses, from the aromas. So that's really what it's all about when you see people doing this and swirling. It's about releasing those beautiful aromas
And getting more air.
it makes it taste better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cheers. Oh, that is very nice. It is velvety. It's smooth, and it doesn't have that bite.
Silky.
It's silky. Yes, it is very silky. Like I can. Oh my god, this is good. And like the smell, it's like, everything about it just makes me feel like like grown and sexy. I really like this.
And like you can really relax and enjoy it. And wine is something to be savored as well, which I enjoy. There's certain things, we move so fast in our society, but the whole culture of wine, the whole experience is to slow down, to relax, to sip, to savor, and to really take in all of the different sensory experiences.
And it's like you can sit down with friends, and for those who are celebrating Galentine's Day, which is February 13th, which is a day where women get together with their girlfriends and celebrate. This is also really nice. Pour a nice bottle of wine, do some cheese plates, and have a good time with your friends. So I also think that it doesn't have to be romantic love. It can be just taking time to appreciate and slow down.
Absolutely.
Which is really great. And this
Spend
is
time with people you care
love.
about.
Yeah.
For Valentine's Day, I think the bubbles would be very cute. Like different assorted kind of rosé bubbles.
Yeah, I
So
think
these
that
be
would be
very
fun
ones.
for that one. And so now, give us some tips. So like you want to go and buy a nice bottle. What do you look for? What are we asking? What are some tips?
Great question. So some of my top tips are, don't be afraid to talk to the salespeople. Find a nice looking salesperson at the shop and ask them. And be honest and don't be intimidated or afraid.
Right.
Generally, the wine people love to help. And honestly, a lot of us in the industry, we drink enough wine that we can't really afford to be buying $200 bottles every night either. So we know fun tricks and tips. And a lot of people at your local wine shop will as well. They'll be like, oh wow, we just got something in and it's only $22 a bottle and it's amazing. You gotta check it out.
Oh, cool.
And they are very enthusiastic. They love to give tips. They love to help. So, but also go in armed, knowing with like a little bit of what you may or may not like. Have a sense of, some tips would be to know the kind of body or weight of the style of wine you want. So say I like big jammy reds, or I like something a little bit more elegant and delicate like a Pinot Noir. Or I like bubbles and I like rosé, and then they can kind of help direct you. And again, pick a region.
Pick a region
that you may not know or like, and kind of explore.
Now this is a question for dinner. There's all the rules. But really, is it necessary to have this red wine with a steak or red meat, or could I have it with a fish or seafood dish?
You can absolutely do what works for you. There are pairing things that do work slightly better, but I found that if you're having a good time,
it doesn't matter. Exactly. Yeah, well, if you're just enjoying the meal and the wine.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, for Thanksgiving, we opened a really, really nice bottle of Billy Carr Saumon, which is a beautiful champagne, and I drank it all the way through my Thanksgiving meal, and it worked out great.
Okay, good.
There are different pairing things, though. Like you kind of want to keep the right weight with the right weight. So fish, typically people like white wines or a light, elegant Pinot Noir, that sort of thing. And it does feel really nice to have a big lamb shank or steak with a big glass of Cabernet.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
No, and I like that. And I like that you're making the wine approachable and fun. And lastly, I just kind of want to get a touch on the APV. That's an alcohol per volume.
Mm-hmm.
What's a nice alcohol per volume we should look for in our wines?
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a really good thing, and I get this question all the time. So California wines tend to be a little bit higher in their alcohol by volume percentage, and it tends to be more around 14-15%, which is okay. That's fine. But if you think that might be bothering you, you might want to look for wines from northern Appellations like Oregon or Washington. They tend to be a little bit lower, more at 11 to 13% alcohol by volume, and European wines as well have a little bit. The way they're harvested, the way they're made, their alcohol levels tend to be a little bit lower.
Great. So, well, thank you, Meghan, for being here today. And she will be back. So in the comments below, please leave us your wine questions because we're hoping throughout the year to keep doing these great wine discussions. But we want to wish you a very happy Valentine's Day.
Or Galentine's Day.
And we will see you next video, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.